Oh. Sorry. Internet trouble. Sorry, I have had internet trouble and then my electricity went out last night. So hopefully that doesn't happen to us today. So who is here? Welcome. I wasn't sure if anybody would show up today because the inauguration is going on and that's what I was watching before I came here. And then I thought, will there be people in class today? So who's here with me? Let me know if you're here. My regulars, I'm assuming that most people are going to be watching the inauguration. So I'd like to know who's here so that I can visualize you out there. Michael. Okay, perfect. And Rosemary, good. Yeah, I didn't know if anybody would show up because it's the inauguration. I didn't even think about that. Perfect. So any special requests, you could chat with me and let me know special requests you have. And I know that my body needs this. I'm looking forward to moving and stretching and getting everything to move. So if there's any special requests, let me know. Otherwise, if I'm free to roam, I will do something great for us. So perfect. Perfect. All right. So I would just like to say a little something about this new raised awareness that I'm understanding that has been very expansive for me, is that as we age and when we don't use our body, it's like cobwebs. I was thinking about that. I don't know if I had a dream about that or I was thinking about that on Saturday. It's like cobwebs start to form in our body. And that lack of movement allows that cobwebs and then stickiness. And actually, I was watching something on fascia and there was an image of deposits in the layers of fascia when there isn't a lot of mobility in the body, adhesions they're called. And if we don't move them around our body or stretch and get them to move around, then eventually it's like the other term that I've heard, and I can't remember if it was my teacher in India or one of my teachers here, it doesn't matter, self-mummification. And so then I started to visualize a mummy when they're wrapping something and how it's a layer, and eventually it becomes all. So it is so important that we move our bodies. And today's practice, that is going to be my theme, is how do we break up the cobwebs? How do we get everything to flow, get rid of the stickiness, and allow everything to move? So that's the practice of today. I would like you to have a block and a strap handy so we could really stretch our body and our tissue with using the strap and the block. And a blanket is always a really good thing to have as well. I would like to begin today's practice with a breathing exercise because those cobwebs and that stickiness happens in our whole body. And I'd like to really focus on our respiratory aspect. So since there's so much of an emphasis on being healthy and boosting our immune system and being able to breathe, because breath, that's how we begin, right? We begin with breath. We begin this life with breath. And it's the only thing we cannot live without. We can go for weeks without food, and they even believe without water, there's a certain period you could go without water. But with breath, there's a certain time frame where we could not go without breath. And we know that with the brain, I believe it's about 10 minutes, you can't have no oxygen circulating to the brain. So super important to have breath. I'd like you to come into a supported hero's pose for those that can still do this in your body. So if you take a block and you place a block behind your body and have a nice support there, that's one way to do this. You could also do 2 blocks to support yourself here. You could roll up a blanket or a pillow and sit on that, or you could get pillows from your bed. Whatever it is you need to do, if you can maintain range of motion in your joints. So if we could make sure that we don't let the cobwebs or the mummification of the knee joint happen. So that is something. So if you're able to do this, and if you're not, come into a seated position, crisscrossing your legs. So that could be like this. And a really nice thing to do also is to elevate yourself on a block. So come up on a block pretty high and sit in Sukhasana. I want you to have an upright spine. That's the important thing, is that you have your spine is upright and that you have the ability to freely move the lungs. So that is something I'd like you to do. So find that position in your body, whatever that means for you, in crisscross or in a supported Vajrasana position, whatever you have available to you. This is called Vajrasana, thunderbolt pose. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands, we're going to place our hands on the lower ribs. And you want your palms to touch your entire body. So make sure they're not cupping. Make sure that the thumbs are not away. You want it to be that the entire palms are touching your entire abdominal area, right by the low ribs. The middle fingers can touch, or they could be close to each other. Then the next hand position we're going to do is side of the low ribs. So I'd like you to have your hands, palms are touching the side of the low ribs. And if this doesn't work for you, you could take the back of your hands and place the back of the hands there. So the intention for this is to bring the breath to the lower lobes of the lungs, but these hand positions are also going to help to break up some of the cobwebs in our shoulder and spinal area. So that's the second place. And then the third location is the back of the lower ribs. And if you can place your palms flat, try that. And if you cannot place your palms flat, you could do the backs of the hands there. And then if you cannot do the back of the hands and you cannot do the palms flat, and if the sides, well, actually in this case, okay, so there's different hand signals for this too. So if you cannot do the sides, well, hopefully you could do the sides. Let me tell you a hand position for the back if this is too challenging for you. The hand position for the back would be like this. You take your thumb inside your palm and you take your four fingers over your palm. And, oh, sorry. You do this. You take your thumb and your finger. You take your thumb and your finger. You make this position here with your hands, because this relates the nerves that relate to the lower lobes in the brain. So this is a mudra. It's called the Mudra Ham Position. I don't want to get too technical here, but just this is the hand position that you do, the thumb and the finger together and the fingers around the thighs. So that could be what you do when you are doing this entire lower region, if you like, or you could bring your hands to these locations, okay? So that's what we're gonna do, all right. So I will talk you through it. I'm gonna do 3 rounds of a 6-count inhale and a 6-count exhale on each location. So we'll be doing 9 rounds of breath. And I'd like us to first arrive with our breath and do a 6 count. So this is Sukha Pranayama to prepare for Adan Pranayama. That's what we're doing. All right, so go ahead and close your eyes. And if you'd like to bring your hands onto the lower rib area, you can, or if you'd like to have that mudra, that hand position where the thumb and the pointer finger touch and your palms are resting on your thighs, whichever is appropriate for you. And then I'm going to count a couple of rounds through the Sukha Pranayama to get us to harmonize our breath with that 6 inhale and 6 exhale. So let's prepare by taking an exhale first. And let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's begin our Adan Pranayama. Take your hands onto your lower ribs or leave your hands on the thighs if that's what you're going to do. Make sure the entire palm touches the ribs. Let's prepare. Exhale. Let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's slide your hands to the side, all the way on the side of the body or on the thighs, thumb and pointer finger touching. You want to direct your mind and your breath down to your hands so you feel your body moving into your hands. Let your shoulders soften. Let the tension from the back release as much as you can. Let's prepare. Exhale and begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take your hands and slide your hands to the back of the lower ribs. Either the palms touch the body or the back of the hands rest on the body. Let's prepare. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring your hands onto your thighs, pointer finger and thumb touch. Sit nice and tall. Breathe down to the entire perimeter of the lower ribs, down into the lower lungs. Inhaling down to lower lungs and exhaling from the lower lungs all the way out. So the inhale begins there and the exhale begins there. Take your last breath. Bring your awareness up to your eyes. Take your hands, rub your hands together. Feel the heat, feel the palms, feel the fingertips. Experience everything you can in your hands. So feel the fingers rubbing up against the palm rubbing up against the fingers. Feel all of that. And then bring your hand over your eyes. You could rest the heel of the hand on the cheekbone if you'd like. And then bring your awareness to your eyelids as you gently allow them to blink themselves open. And then go ahead, bring your hands down. So that's Adan Pranayama, and it's lower lobular breathing to the lower lobes of the lungs. Let's come onto all fours to straighten the legs to bring the blood flow back to the legs. So flip your toes under, straighten your leg, and then do the same thing with the other side. So kinking up the hoses by sitting on your knees in flexion is a good thing to do. And then we have the added benefit of the breath. Take your leg, kick your leg, and then let's kick the other leg. So we'll do a little bit of a chest expansion, spend a little bit of time on our backs here. We began the practice today a little bit more in a seated position as opposed to supine, which is on your back. And I'd like to take you down there to get a little bit of this out of the body, which is really a huge contributor to the cobweb. So if our body was a house, this is like the attic here. And the health of the spine, the mobility of the spine will determine the health of us. So take a blanket, make it pretty long. So I took a blanket. I don't want you to do it in this direction where it's narrow, rolling it up. I'd like you to take it lengthwise so that you have a little bit more of a narrow fold. And the tighter you roll this, the tighter of a column you make the more intensity will be for the stretch. So you have to determine what's appropriate for you when you're doing that. And then the thing that we're going to do here is you want your tushy to be on the floor. So do not bring your buttocks onto that blanket. Let the blanket touch the lower back. And then if you have bone density issues, if you have osteoporosis, you want to move to the side when you come down. And if you do not have that, you can come through flexion if you use your core to help lower you onto the blanket. So whatever you do, find this coming into now helping to deeply stretch the spine and the chest and the shoulder area. So keep your knees bent. Let your feet be wider than your body. Let your head rest. For some of you, it may feel really uncomfortable to not, and your head might be going downward. And if that's the case, you want to bend the blanket so that you have a little bit more support. The goal here is to have a really nice long spine in its natural curves so that the neck is nice and long and in its natural curves. And then you take your arms out to the side, palms are up towards the sky, feet are wider than the body, knees are falling in towards each other. So we want the low back to be soft here and to not take the pressure of the opening that's happening. We are creating a deep stretch in our thoracic spine. And then if you can, press your heart up towards the sky. As long as that feels okay, that might add a little more intensity. You may start to feel some of the lower aspects of the spine, some of the muscles that attach there. So closing your eyes, developing your own interoception, inner body awareness, very important to preserve your body and to be able to clear the cobwebs. Deep breaths now down to your lower ribs, like we began with our Adan Pranayama, that lower lobular breathing, or lower lobular breathing. You say tomato, I say tomato. Mm-hmm. Let your arms be to the side. Let your shoulders rest here. Bring your awareness to your shoulders and feel like you're pushing them down towards your foot part of your mat. So you're creating more space where your shoulders and ears are. So let there be space there. And breathing down with your awareness now, with your visualization, with each breath. I'll do a little guidance here. I'll count the 6 and 6, the Sukha Pranayama, and you'll bring your awareness to the front of the lower ribs. Then we'll bring our awareness to the side of the lower ribs. Then we'll bring our awareness to the back of the lower ribs. So let's take a breath to prepare. Exhale. Bring your awareness to the lower ribs in the front. Begin. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring your awareness to the side of the lower ribs and visualize and experience movement in that part of your lower rib area as the lungs move to the sides towards those low ribs. Let's take a breath to prepare. Exhale. Let's begin. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring your awareness now to the lower ribs at the back, and you may even feel your low back pressing into the rolled up blanket. Or you may feel your lower ribs moving towards the ground, and you may experience a little release and relief in the low back. So let's prepare. Exhale. Begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue on your own breathing. Count in your mind a 6 inhale and a 6 exhale. Keep your mind with counting, your mind with the area that you're breathing to. Feel the movement of your body. Begin the inhale down to this area and the exhale at the same area, lower lobes of the lungs. Finishing up your last couple of breaths. And then finish your last breath. Let's take your fingers, your toes, moving your body. If you'd like to reach the arms overhead, if that feels appropriate, keep the knees bent at first, fully stretching the upper torso area. I'd like you to feel what you feel. Notice if you feel a stretch, if you feel tension, what you notice in your body. The more aware you become of your body, the healthier you will be able to keep yourself. The more you'll be able to understand where you have dysfunctions, help correct them. If you like to take your arms, moving your arms a little bit up and down, helping to clear the cobwebs and the shoulder blades at the back of the body, especially if they're not up against anything, depending on how narrow you rolled up your towel or blanket. And then getting the chest muscles. See if you could feel the stretch that happens at the lower ribs to the top pelvis, maybe for some of you. And then if you'd like to bring the legs, if you do that, go one at a time really slow. So we're in our body. This is interoception. I don't want you to just throw your bag of bones around. I want you to develop this inner body awareness so you can learn how to heal yourself and keep yourself nice and mobile as long as you live, working on your health span and lifespan. Take your legs overhead. Take your legs straight, not overhead. Take your legs away from you and your arms are overhead. Reach, reach, reach. And then let's go ahead. Go slow here because we were manipulating the spine and stretching some deep muscles of the spine. And so you're going to roll onto your side and you want to be aware of any release that comes into the body when you do that and how you feel. So bring yourself onto your right side. Notice how you're feeling. Let's take the left hand on the floor in front of us, and always learning to move safely to keep our body in a really great range of motion. We're not going to lift our head up here. You just try that actually. Try to just lift your head slowly, go slow, and start to see where you notice that in the upper back area and in the neck. And if you hold your head up here for a little while, you'll start to feel tension on the side of your neck. So go ahead and place your head down. We don't want to do that. We have enough tension in our neck. It's the area that I'm hearing the most complaints about is the upper back, head, and neck area. So let's preserve it and not bring tension when we don't need to, because there's tension when we're cooking, sitting, computer, phone. So take your left hand on the floor, take your left leg, you're going to use this as a helper. You're going to inhale, bring your leg in, and as you exhale, push that left hand like crazy into the floor and kick that left leg away and lead with that left shoulder to bring yourself up to seated so that you move thoughtfully in your body. And yeah, so that breath, let's just come here while I do a little talking, get our wrists to move. So come here for a second. The breath that we began the practice with today, the Adan Pranayama, and then we actually brought that through visualization. So having the hands on these different parts of our body, where the mind goes, the energy flows. And where the hands are, the mind will go. And the sensory somatic cortex in the brain, we fire that up. So we bring ourselves from this place that we always live, which is the limbic area of our brain for fight, flight, for stress. And we bring ourselves to the more intelligent, conscious brain. And so the hands have a lot of dedicated neurons to the hands. So when we do things with our hands, we bring our hands here, there's a loop system that we're creating and awareness. And then your mind goes there and you're feeling your ribs expanding. And then also this hand position can also start to remove some of that congestion in the upper back, some of that postural congestion. So there's a lot of amazing aspects to this. And then let's go ahead and shake your hands. When we were on the ground, I had you visualize these areas. And because the diaphragm is the primary breathing muscle that moves down and moves back up, we want to bring the breath into the lower lobes first and let the breath leave the lower lobes first, directing all of the awareness to actually where the action is happening. It's either drawing or creating a pressure to draw the breath in, or it's pressing up to push the breath out of the lungs. So anyway, perfect. All right, take your hands down alongside your body. Let's inhale to reach up, and then exhale, chin to chest. Hands go down alongside the body. Palms are up, inhale. And then exhale, chin to chest, lengthen the back neck. Palms are up. And then one more time. Let's bring our arms up. Let's do a little lateral movement here. So the arms are up and then you drop one arm, whichever one you'd like. Reach up and over. Feel that nice stretch on the side of your body and then bring yourself up. Let's go to the other side. And go back and forth here. Go slow. And then actually take a little bit of a wider stance. So there isn't any issue here with balance. This is mostly about flowing the upper body. I'd like you to imagine that you're in water, that you're in a water environment. So there is a little resistance and there's also a little bit of protection so that we're trying to create this watery environment in our joints, secreting fluids. And then we're also using that to help sustain us with our balance. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's do what's called gate pose. More stretch now for that lateral chain, that side body. So I'd like the foot to be out to the side, and then let me take these socks off to give you a little bit of an understanding of where my feet are. And then let me just see, is that, who else joined us? Oh, Carolyn is here. Okay, great. Okay, so let's do the other side here. You're gonna take your leg to the side, the toes are pointing forward. Now I'd like you to be close to the side of your body. For some of you though, that may be a little bit too much in the hip. So let's do a little bit of this rocking action when you have your leg out to the side. Go slow, because adductors and then some of these lateral chain muscles are stretching when you do this. And just notice if you're able to do this. Because my focus today is clearing the cobwebs, removing the adhesions the protection in the body that's coming in, that's trying to get, that's very sticky. So this movement here, think about bringing the left, or whatever side you're at, think about bringing this lower rib closer, this lower rib and this top pelvis closer together to get you to go a little bit of side to side. It's like hula, but your leg is out to the side. So it's very interesting getting a little bit of movement there. And then see if you can do a tilting forward and back action. So the pelvis is moving, in this case, I'm doing a forward and back movement with my pelvis when my leg is out to the side. So it's very small movements. It's specific to you and your body's range of motion and ability. We are stretching the ankle here, which is a big part of balance and communication, comes from the feet and where they are in space. So see if you're able to get this posterior and anterior pelvic tilt. I think that this raised piece of awareness of my body's movability is what has helped me and what is helping me maintain my body with my issues that I've had in my hips. Okay, let's bring yourself to a static hold. Now, for some of you, you may need to bring the leg a little forward. So it may not feel super comfortable alongside your body. And I'd like you to take your hand on your leg. Take your opposite hand, palm is up. And then you're gonna reach up. So reach straight up above you. And then you're gonna bend to the side if you can. And then if you have shoulder issues, if you take your hand on your shoulder and you reach your shoulder up to the sky, that will still give you that deep stretch in the side body that I'd like to have you get today. So whether your arm is straight up or the elbows bent, what I really want you to make sure is that you're not trying so hard and you're in this position where your hand is in front of your face. So the arm that's in the air should be alongside your ear and not alongside your mouth. So really push that arm up and back, and the hand on the leg is reaching down, and then lift your arch off the floor. Take one more breath and then bring yourself back up. So we're doing a little bit of weighted stretch, and when we're on the floor and we're stretching, and that's one way to stretch. And then when we start to add a little bit of weight to the movements, it gets a little bit more intense. So make sure you feel okay here. Now let's find that side to side, that hula action in your hip. I guess if I put my hands here, you'll be able to see that how much my hips are moving. So you let your body move here, feeling that adductor inner thigh stretch, which attaches onto the pelvis, and then the side muscles, the glute mid here, and then we've got this iliotibial band here. So just getting some freedom, clearing the cobwebs in the side of your body. For anyone who came late, or if you did come late, cobwebs are those sticky adhesions that happen inside our body, and we need to clear the cobwebs, because just like an attic that no one goes in, if it's been there for a long, long time, you'll have to clear the way to get through because there'll be so many cobwebs, and we're going to clear them. So we're going to make sure we keep our space clean, our body clean with no adhesions, or get them to move. So back and forth here with the hips. And now we're going to try that forward back. So if you think about your pelvis as a vessel that contains liquid, think about spilling the liquid out the front edge. Think about spilling liquid out the back edge. And you may even feel your psoas, your hip flexor muscles, on the opposite hip stretch. So that's another thing to notice, the hip flexor muscles that cross the front of that hip. So this is some nice deep hip mobility and cobweb clearing. So by the way, this is the first time I've ever mentioned the words cobwebs in teaching, but it's really what I believe is going to keep us mobile as we age, is to clear the cobwebs. Okay, now you're going to be nice and tall in your body. Take your hand on your leg. The other hand, the palm is up. You're going to reach up, 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 and then you're going to reach over and let your hand go down the leg. So let your hand go down the leg. Again, if you have shoulder issues, you may need to do it with your fingers on top of your shoulders, or if you can't even do that, it may need to be this. So it's not don't do it. It's find where you can do this. Okay, your arm is alongside your ear, not in front of your mouth. Keep your arm alongside your ear, hand down your leg. Feel that stretch along that side of your body. Deep breaths. And here you could breathe down or direct the breath down to the lower lobes of the lungs, to the low ribs. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself all the way up. Okay. So I am going to show you a little movement right now. This is not for those with osteoporosis. Osteopenia, maybe. Osteoporosis, no. Forward folding is counterindicated for osteoporosis. And I teach osteoporosis classes, so this one is not one of them. So I want to be mindful of those that are still able to move their spines in the flexion position, because I think it's important to clean the cobwebs of the spine. So you're going to sit here in your Vajrasana pose, for those of you that can get into this. And if you do need to put some kind of support underneath your tushy and your heels, go ahead. You can fold something underneath there if the knees don't like to bend this much. And this is definitely a little bit more advanced for people who have knees that bend. So if your knees don't really bend, I'm going to have you, well, just watch for a second. We're just going to do a couple of these, okay? And then for those of you that have knees that bend, you could do more later. So this is called Dharmikasana. It's a pose of devotion. This is a surrender. This is a nice way to just find a total release in your body. So you're going to take your hands down alongside your body. I'm going to put a block there in front, and you could put a block a little higher. So if you keep your spine straight when you come down and you don't flex, and you only come to here and you have osteopenia, I'm not going to say osteoporosis, you could do this with your head up, okay? The goal here is to find length in your spine from tailbone to crown of head. For those of you that do not have that issue, you're going to inhale, and then as you exhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Keep your tushy on your feet. Let your head reach away from, actually, I think I'm going to put my duty to here. Keep your tushy on your feet if you can. Coming. Now there's flexion that comes into the spine here, but the top thighs are there to help protect the weight on the front of the spine. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Come all the way down onto your block. And then when you come up, reach your head up. Let's do 2 more of those. Exhale. Throat is open, head is up, reach, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen your spine. You'll feel a stretch here, low back, glutes. Starts to come to the mid back, the upper back. And then 1 more to rise. And then 1 more to lower. Exhale. Try not to round the spine too much. But at the same time, we need flexion in our bodies. We need to maintain that range of motion safely. And then bring yourself up. Okay. So if you were able to do that, great. Thinking about really lengthening the spine. And when I learned that in my training in India, the teacher is a doctor that put together this, the lineage that I'm learning from. And he spoke about arthritic deposits in the spine and how that pose helps to free up arthritic deposits. Those are our cobwebs. So we want to get rid of that. Okay, let's do a little side plank here. So we're going to do a strength and a balance because it's important to maintain that in our body. So I'd like you to come, actually, we're going to do left side first. So you're going to put your left hand on the floor. Okay, let's warm up ourselves before we do that, please. Take your block off to the side for a second. Let's do a little crawling here because we haven't really been on all fours too much, maybe once today. And I want you to crawl around so that you can set your hips and set your shoulders. If you're okay to move a lot, I'd like you to move around a little bit more and then look up and forward. So let your head be looking forward so that you're strengthening your upper back and neck. And I mentioned that that's an area that can be really bothersome for many. It's one of the main areas of complaints that I get from students and clients. And then bring yourself back to your blanket so your knees are protected. I always like to protect my knees, even when I was practicing yoga in the beginning in my 30s. It's something I've always wanted to do is protect my knees. So have something underneath your knees. I just think having body weight on top of the patella bone, the kneecap, is just so precarious and maybe could eventually cause some issues. So you could have a block here. This will give you a little bit more support. You're going to take your left hand, place your left hand on the floor in front of you. Pointer finger is facing forward. And then you're going to take your left foot. So you slide your left foot off to the side, but the knee stays on the floor. So I'll just show you. This is my right leg, but you slide the leg off to the floor, off to the side on the floor so that you get a little support. Slide your leg off to the side. Bring your block here. And then you're going to bring yourself up. So let your hips open up so your foot comes alongside your body. So we had our foot alongside our body before. Maybe that's a little prep for you here. Let the back foot be on the floor to help you, and then bring your hand alongside your body. So your heart is pointing forward and your hips are pointing forward. And then if you push your weight back into your knee, see how that takes it out of the wrist? And if you put it forward, it loads on the wrist. We need our wrist to be strong. It's a very precarious area, the #1 fracture site in the body. So load it to whatever is appropriate for you. And then let's take the leg up towards the sky. So the right leg, we're on the left hand is on the floor. The right leg is lifting. Try to keep it parallel. Try not to let it fall down. Keep it parallel and keep it to the side. Don't let it be forward. If you could bring your hand up, bring your hand up. If your wrist is really not happy, can you pop up into frosted cupcake hands? Like you're holding a frosted cupcake and you don't want to smush the icing. Bringing your hand up, lift your leg. You could reach up and over if you'd like. Reach your leg long, reach your arm long. It's important to stay strong in our body. Open up your chest. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself out. I wonder if you noticed here your side neck strengthening as you hold your head up. Just come out for a second and take a break. That pose is I called it a side plank, but in reality, it's a little bit more like Ardha Chandrasana, which is a half moon pose. And that is a tough pose for many, or tough posture, I'm going to call it. Okay. It's a tough posture for a lot of people. It's balance, flexibility, and strength. So be kind to yourself if it is a challenging pose for you. And if you practice a little bit at a time, slowly but surely, you build all of these things in your body. Just like if you're going to build a house, you don't all of a sudden throw all the bricks and there it is. You put one brick on top of another brick, on top of another brick, on top of another. Let's take the right hand on the floor. The right knee is on the floor. Slide the right foot off to the side so it's off the mat. Bring the block in front of you. Push your belly button to your spine as you open up your hips and place your left inner foot, the inner edge of the foot, the big toe edge on the floor. And then you're going to open up your chest. So you're stacking your shoulders, stacking your hips, total side body position here. Take your hand on your waist and then you lift that leg. If you could get it to be even with your body, great. That's what your goal is. So keep pushing up towards the sky and especially on the outer edge of the heel, pushing up towards the sky, strengthening that gluten medius, which is a really important muscle for hip health, for knee health, of course, for the whole body. And then the hand comes up. And then if you'd like, you could reach up and over, lengthening. Reach out the leg, reach out the hand. Be very strong here. Push your belly button back towards your spine. And if you do need to pop up into a frosted cupcake hand, you can come up frosted cupcake hand. So the foot that's on the floor is helping support you. Push your belly button to your spine. Reach out your limbs. Feel that strength developing in your body. Reach that outside edge over the heel up towards the sky. Take one more breath. And then let's slowly come out. So and notice here the side neck getting stronger. Let's take ourselves back up here, shaking your hands. Let's take your head side to side. When the head goes side to side, it's the ear that reaches up towards the sky. So really create this length in your neck when you come side to side. It's important that you do movement. It's important that you do strengthening. And it's important that you go at your own pace. It's important that you don't get defeated and think that I can't do this because my knees don't bend, because I can't do that posture, because I can do what you can. And even there is so much power in visualization. So even if you can't do a movement, to actually visualize a movement is a really lovely thing to do. Okay, we're going to come and do a dolphin plank, because this is a great way to really get this entire front body strong. And this can be done by most, regardless of where you are in terms of your strength. And so I'll give you different variations depending on where you are. The block is to get you in this nice alignment position so that the elbows and the shoulders are stacked on top of each other. And the forearms are the distance of the shoulders so that you're not in this position here. You could do it without a block, having your hands on the floor like this. Make sure you're not like this. It's not as stable to have your body in that position as it is to have you in this. Okay, so let's slide the block forward. Keep your knees on your mat. If you're or keep your knees on your mat or your blanket. And then if you're going to do the modification of this, you could take your toenails to touch the floor and lift your low back up towards the sky. So you want to push your belly button towards your spine, lift your low back up towards the sky. For those of you that are going to come into the full dolphin, you take your knees off the floor. And wherever you are, you're going to push if you have a block, push the block with the fingers to really help to turn on the support of the shoulder girdle. And press the elbows and the forearms into the floor. The nose is pointing down to the floor, maybe a little forward, but mostly down. Reach out the crown of the head, reach out the heels, push your feet into the floor, push your elbows into the floor, lift that low back up towards the sky. So don't let there be extension or excessive extension in that low spine. Either dig the elbows into the floor or the knees or the feet and pull them towards each other. So turn on those deep flexors in the body. Take one more breath and then bring yourself down. And again, maybe you stayed up that whole time and maybe you didn't. That's okay. You do whatever's appropriate for you. Let's take the elbows directly underneath the shoulders, stretching the belly. So soften your belly here. Belly between where the lower ribs are and the pelvis. Soften that part of your body and let's stretch that tissue. Stretch the cobwebs. Stretch and remove any stickiness in the belly area. Close your eyes and take a couple of breaths down to your belly. Take one more big breath down to your belly. And then with length, lengthening your spine. So find that length in your spine. Your hands are on the floor. Imagine someone is gently holding the sides of your ears. And as you lower down, your head is being moved away from you so that you have length in your body, length in your spine, length in your neck, appropriate. Be in your body to feel what feels appropriate as you come all the way down onto the ground. And then take your hands one on top of the other, elbows are out to the sides, and the forehead rests on top of the back of the hand. Then your feet are touching the floor, so feel the toenails touch the floor, the legs are nice and long here. Check in with your body here to see how you're feeling. Take a couple of breaths down to your low belly, down to those lower ribs like we began the practice today. Breathe down to the lower ribs, the front, the sides, and the back. This can be nice to give you a little lower back relief when you do that. So we're going to do a little strengthening of the upper back, and I want you to go as gentle as you need or bring in as much strength as you need. Forehead is resting on the back of the hands. As you inhale, like a mama cat raises her kitten from the nape of the neck, so not from the middle of the head, from the upper back, you lift up towards the sky. You can let the head go as well, but really let this be that upper back working. And go slow here. Close your eyes, be inside your body and feel what's happening. You inhale to rise. And you exhale to lower. See if you could feel the muscles along your spine getting shorter and contracting to lift you up. On the last one, I want you to stay up. Come up and stay up. Stay up here. You could, whether your eyes are open or closed, you could imagine you're gazing forward. So there's a little bit more lift of the head, strengthening the upper back area. Take an inhale and then exhale to lower. Again, bring your breath to your low belly. It's important for those of you with neck issues to become very aware of where is a safe range of motion for you to move. Because when we stop moving, the cobwebs are created. When we stop moving, the stickiness comes in, and then motion is even less available to us. So being in your body with interoception, with inner body awareness, to know what is appropriate and safe movements for you is an amazing skill for us to develop to keep our bodies strong and healthy as we age. Let's take the hands out to the side. So the elbows are coming right off the shoulders. The forearms are on the floor. The palms are on the floor. Make sure your hands, the wrist joint is right in line with the elbow joint. So don't have your hands too close to your body. Your hands are alongside your body. The palms are on the floor. Let the forehead touch the floor so your back neck is nice and long. And as you inhale, lift up. Let the nape of the neck lift up. And then exhale to lower. A little bit of a stronger motion now for the back. So let the back neck be nice and imagine that mama cat lifting the kitten. The nape of the neck, so right where your upper back begins, that's what's lifting up towards the sky. And be in your body to feel these muscles move as they contract to lift you. Muscles of posture, muscles that help hold this head on top of your spine. Go slow. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Be in your body and feel all those muscles contracting to lift you up in this direction. You can let your head go a little bit higher if that feels appropriate for you. Feel a little more tension in the upper neck or upper back area. And then let's take one more and stay there. And then on your next exhale, lower down, take your hands, fold your hands, rest your head on top of your hands. Let your feet go really wide as your mat. Flip your feet if you can. So the inner edge, the big toe edge of your foot is on the floor. Maybe the inner heels touch as well, or maybe it's just the big toe area, or maybe it's the tip of the toe. Whatever it is, let's stretch something somewhere else to get more stickiness and cobwebs out of the body. Rest your head. Keep your right hand there. Take your legs back, straight out. Take your left hand up away from you. Your head is on the back of your right hand. We're going to lift the left hand and the right leg, diagonal patterning, strengthening the back of the body, the posture. I want you to go slow. I want you to be in your body. I want you to do what's appropriate. This is not about lift up quickly and put down quickly. This is on the inhale, you lift up, you lengthen, and you feel the contraction coming into the muscles, the workload coming in. And when you exhale, you allow a release and you go slowly to exit that action as well. Let's prepare. Inhale and exhale. Let's begin. Lift on the inhale, lift the left leg and the left arm and the right leg. And then lower.
Left arm, right leg. Lower. Left arm, right leg. Inhale. Lower. One more. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Stay here. See if you can lift that arm. Keep the arm straight. Reach the fingers away, reach the toes away. And then go ahead and lower. Let's do the other side. Take the left hand, forehead goes in the back of the left hand. The right hand goes away from you. Let's prepare. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale to lower. Be in your body, feel it happening. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Again, inhale, right arm, left leg. Last one, right arm, left leg. Inhale, and then stay there. Reach that right arm away, reach that left leg away, lift that right arm up, lift the left leg. And on your next exhale, go ahead and release. Take your legs wide. Take your back, the head on the back of the hands. Wiggle your pelvis back and forth pretty strongly here so that the bones will settle in the tissue. Let your tushy and your body be soft. You're rocking back and forth. Try to let everything be really soft so that the bones can settle. And we can get those cobwebs to move. And then go ahead and release. Take your right arm up. Let's come on to the right side. Noticing how you feel. You should feel pretty yummy. The asana aspect of yoga has a strengthening component, has a lengthening component, helps with balance, and there should also be an enjoyment aspect of it as well. So it should not all be tough. And after about age 45, it's more about preservation than it is about building. So we are trying to remain strong or keep strength in our body, but it's really about preservation of our body. So we're not trying to muscle through things and go too crazy. Let's take your left hand on the floor, practicing again getting up safely. So you're not going to lift your head up. You're going to push with your hand, use that leg and use that left shoulder. Inhale. As you exhale, bring yourself up. All right, let's come onto our backs. You're going to need your block and your strap. Take your blanket up to the top of the mat. And if you do have bone density issues, you will come to the side to bring your hands down and come down. And if not, you can roll down through. Maybe that's a good way for all of us to start moving anyway, regardless of whether we have the bone density issues. All right, have your blanket only underneath your head and neck. Bring your leg in, it doesn't matter which one, warming up that hamstring muscle so we can do a little stretching of the hamstring muscle, a little flexion of that knee joint. This is good to articulate the knee. Keep your ankle in a flexed position so the sole of the foot points up towards the sky. You lead with the heel, and this femur bone stays stationary, so don't let it move. This is going to strengthen your quads. I feel that in my quadriceps when I make it a little bit more muscular, a little bit more action. Let's go ahead and put your legs down. Let's come to the other side. Hands are behind the thighs. A little bit here with that. And you want to bring the fluids and get everything flowing before we stretch. Leading with the heel. Try to allow that articulation of the joint to be nice. Notice where you feel tension in your leg when you do this. And then let's go ahead and get the strap. Let's bring the right foot forward first. So don't lasso it. Bring your leg as close as you can to your body. Take the strap on that right foot. Wrap your hands around the strap. Let your shoulder blades be on the floor and keep your elbows close to your body. If you'd like to take your left leg straight, you can. Pull the strap down, firm up that right leg, and draw the right leg back towards the wall behind you. You could have a straight knee here if you'd like. That will be stimulating for the pelvic bone because the hamstring begins there. It'll pull on the pelvis. And if that's too intense for you and you need a little bend, if you put a little bend there, you'll be in the center of the muscle, the belly of the muscle stretching. So it's all good. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to a neutral position. I'd like you to do a little ankle stretch here. So let your foot go back and forth, side to side. And go slow. The kneecap stays still. The only movement is in the ankle. You're pulling on one strap, you're pulling on the other. Pull on one strap, pull on the other. Keep your leg straight. It's in the ankle area and the lower leg. And then let's bring the other leg up. Take the foot in the strap, bending the other knee. Take your hands down the strap, wrap them around. Shoulder blades on the floor, elbows are by your body. If you're going to straighten the leg, go slowly, lengthen the leg, and let it come to the floor. I'm not straightening this leg because I've got something in that hip. Let's take the, I'm noticing my body position and being careful with that hip right now. Let's take the strap, draw the strap closer to your body, firm up the upper thigh, and then draw that leg towards the wall behind you. Feel that nice stretch. I say nice. I want you to stay to the place of nice, and maybe you could go towards not so nice, but go to where it's not too intense, where it's appropriate for you. Stretching the leg towards the wall behind you, firming up the muscles of the left leg. Deep breaths, always breathing. And then take one more breath. Then you're going to release, and we're going to do that side to side. Pull one hand and then the other. One and then the other. Look at your kneecap. Your kneecap should not move at all so that you keep the movement in your lower leg. That's a challenge for some to get this action. You're pulling on the pinky toe edge when you pull one strap. You're pulling in the arch when you pull the other strap. Pinky toe edge and the arch. And then let's go ahead and take that out. Let's take your feet into a windshield wiper action. Take the hands alongside the body, the palms are up, the elbows are bent, and only raise the arms as high as your shoulders would like you to. So if you could raise them up pretty high, just be aware of your body, listen to your body. Take your feet off the mat. And then you're going to inhale to one direction, go slow. Go slow. Exhale, push your belly button back towards your spine to come back to center. Inhale to the other direction. And then exhale back to center. Go slow here with this movement. Keep your ribs and your shoulders on the floor. Let your legs go side to side. So you're moving your hips, you're moving your pelvis. There may be a little bit of the back that gets moved here. And then bring yourself back to center. let's take the hand on one knee, hand on the other. So hold your hands on top of your knees. You're holding onto your knees. If you let go, your foot would fall. So I want it to be that your hand does the action, even do a little shaking. So if you let go, your feet are going to fall. You have that much softness in your lower body. We're trying to relax the hip flexors, give them a break. They do so much for us. So take your hands on your knees. At first, you have to use those muscles to get there. And then I want you to be soft. So do a little jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Inhale. As you exhale, draw the knees straight in. Go slow. Only go as far as you can. I want you to press your belly. Press your belly with your top thighs. Feel the low back pressing into the floor. And then inhale to release. Let the arms go straight. Exhale, draw the knees into the chest. Let the legs be soft. Let the arms do the action. Feel the low back pressing into the floor. So try to be very passive here. We are posteriorly tilting your pelvis, which is going to add flexion to the lumbar spine, which is going to help to move some of the cobwebs and all of the stuff that's coming to the lumbar area, which is so important for us because that's where so much of our stuff goes, is to that low back. Exhale to come in. Keep your hands in. Let's bring one leg up to the sky and then the other and take them wider. Hold on behind your thighs. You're wide here and rock side to side. This will stretch the glutes, putting the low back in that flexion position, giving a massage to the low back, side to side. You'll feel the lower ribs pressing into the floor here. If you'd like, if you can grab onto your big toe, not everybody can, not most can. So most can't probably do this. So if you're in that category, know that you're normal. And you could grab onto the feet. And the goal here is not to grab onto the feet with the head going like this to try to get it. It's just that maybe you have more range of motion in your hips and you're able to go deeper. Or maybe you're staying here and that's okay too. So stay where you need to. Be safe. Keep yourself safe. That's always the goal. And then let the legs go up to the sky. Let's do a little shake. Let everything settle. Give the heart a break so it doesn't have to pump the blood, toes and the ankles. Point the feet. Inhale and then exhale to flex. Go slow with breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You may need to have your knees bent really deep here, depending on how much flexibility you have in your body. And then slow circles. Get rid of the cobwebs in the ankles if we didn't already. Now we're actually articulating them. We stretched quite a bit today, the ankle joint area with our gait posture and with our strap. Go in the other direction. And then let's take the feet on the floor. Take the body all the way in a extended position. Stretch, stretch, stretch your body glove. And then let's take our hands. Let's grab, let's like rub our hands together. Let's grab, 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 grab. All those cobwebs we just released. Hold on, and preparing for Shavasana. Come into whatever is an appropriate way for you to end your practice today. Letting your legs go straight, your arms go straight. Stay with your breath, and if you'd like, bring your awareness to your low ribs as we've done most of the practice today.
Bring your awareness to your breath. And then gently deepen that breath. Bring the movement into the fingers, into the toes. And then bending your knees one at a time. Bringing your knees into your chest or rolling onto your side, whatever feels more appropriate for you. Take a breath when you get to your side. And then safely bringing yourself up, pushing away from the floor with that left hand to bring yourself into a seated position. We'll close the practice today with the sound of Om. The ah sound for the Om. The Om is ah, u, or A-O-M, coming from lower to mid to upper lungs. And in the mouth, it goes from the back of the throat to the center to the lips when they close to make the So we did a lot of focus today on that lower region. So allow your ah to start there. Bring your hands together. Thumbs touch the sternum bone. Sit nice and tall. Take a deep breath down to the belly. We bow to each other in namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. That practice today, clearing the cobwebs, doing the Adan Pranayama, bringing that breath really deep into lower lobes of the lungs, so therapeutic, so preservation for aging, getting rid of the cobwebs, bringing that mobility into the body, doing whatever you can in whatever range of motion you can do is perfect. Thank you. Oopsie. Nancy, you're here. Okay, I didn't know you were here. So I did some things today with bending knees. So you may not have been able to bend the knees. Sorry. Hope that was okay. Good, Michael. Yeah. So clearing the cobwebs. Thank you so much for joining me. And I do have an osteoporosis course going on, a bone health course on Tuesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's happening now. Yesterday was the first one. I could prorate the pricing for the last 3. And that's going on. So the next 3 Tuesdays. And then I have 5 classes a week I'm teaching. I plan to continue to teach regular classes during the week because it keeps me going, it keeps you going. And so that will always be something that I'm going to do. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day. Okay, perfect. Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, Kathy. Hi, Kathy. I'm just noticing that you're here. So nice to see you. Say hi to Dennis. And if you talk to Jackie, say hi to her. I miss her. I'm thinking about her. Whenever I think about my Wednesday class, I visualize everyone that was with me. That's my first class ever at Torrance Memorial. And that was 7 years ago. In May, it will be 7 years. So hard to believe. Anyway, Nancy, you've been with me for 7 years through 3 hip replacements, 2 for you, 1 for me. All right. So, and I was just listening to Dr. Mark Hyman today, how important community is. And even though we can't see each other, some of us know each other because we were together. So we are here. You know where Michael sits. You know, Kathy's over there in the cove. You know, Nancy's across the room over there. So even though we're not physically together, this is a community and so healing. We need this. So thank you so much for joining me. Yes, you should get her to come. And yes, we're going to get rid of those, getting rid of the cobwebs class. That's what this is. So yes. All right. Thank you so much. I got to go. I have another class at 11 to clear out more cobwebs. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.